Hello, and welcome to this edition of Exclusive Interview, coming to you from the studios of 84 TV Radio, Abuja, Nigeria. My name is Stanley Bentu. Now, it's no surprise to anyone that Nigeria has been grappling with security challenges since 2009. And we have talked a lot about what the service chiefs are doing, what the military is doing, what the police is doing. But have we asked enough? What are our politicians doing? What are our judges doing? What about you and I? What are our roles? Well, those are some of the issues that we'll be tackling on this episode. But first, the report.
Human nature has not changed since the beginning of time. Research suggests that the root cause of interstate and intrastate conflicts stems from ideological, ethnic, religious, and socio-political differences between cultures. As a result, over the last 10 years, the Nigerian government is characterized by regional instability, increased weapons proliferation, and terrorism. There is a concern among conflict resolution scholar practitioners that peace building is underperforming due to a lack of effective leadership, sometimes described as a leadership void. Intentional or not, we have designed a society in which much of what we do and how we do it simply cannot continue. Whole system change in the pattern of human activities is required. There is a commonality of human interest in economic security, political freedom, and protection of human rights, all of which transcend cultural and geographical boundaries. With an increase in the lethality of conflict by non-state actors, Nigeria has struggled. On this edition of Exclusive Interview, Oladimeji Fabiyi speaks to Stanley Bentu, expressing his views on the role of leadership in guaranteeing peace and security.
Welcome back to Exclusive Interview. Now, to take a closer look at Nigeria's security challenges from the perspective of leadership, I have joining me in the studio Strategic Management Consultant, Honorable Oladimeji Fabiyi.
Thank you
You're very much welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here with you.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much.
So, Nigeria has been, struggling with security matters. I think it picked up since around 2009, and we have not looked back. If it's not banditry, it's Boko Haram or kidnapping, name it. It's a very long list. But if we're to look beyond the kinetic solutions, and look at the political situation in our country. Certainly these things happened as a result of leadership gaps. So what is your assessment of the state of leadership in Nigeria today, especially as it connects to our security situation?
Well, thank you very much. The security challenge, or challenges everywhere is not only limited to Nigeria. A global view will tell you that there are so many security issues around the globe, and then Nigeria in particular. This is not the first time that we'll be having security issues. We've had a lot in the past. I mean, I'm talking about preceding governments, but the difference is just the approach that each of the governments introduced to tackle those security issues. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo, we had pockets of security issues, Niger Delta crisis, and then of course something happened around OD and a whole number of them. Then we have the OPC, challenge in the southwest.
The Sharia riot and the Plateau crisis.
Thank you very much. And that snowballed into when the successor came on board, and then you discover that government of Yar'Adua came, up with a very practical approach to address the Niger Delta crisis. Bringing in the amnesty issue and all that. So what I'm saying in essence is that, yes, in and out of every, term of the government, you have security issues, but the approach, really matters. Now, let's talking about the current situation we're having that we've never experienced in the country. I think before we go really into that, we should look at the structure of the country, It has a lot to do. The law that governs that we use to govern the country has a lot to do with it. So structurally, the country is not too is not sitting well, you know.
So what problem do you have with Nigeria, or the Nigerian structure as it stands currently?
Yes. We're a nation of over 250 languages, different cultures and all that. But you find out that we're together, our ideas, our views to issues are sometimes, you know, different or differ. So the current structure of the country is really making our security challenges, you know, look like it's something that we cannot solve, but we can actually solve it. Okay, look at the appointments of those who are in charge of our security outfits. You know, a lot of people are very, very uncomfortable with what, you know, the way it is.
Well, why is that?
Well, that's why I said the structure is very, very, because we have never been together as a nation.
But that is not a function of the structure, isn't it? It's a problem with the president's choice, or his choices.
Well, the president will tell you, I'm following what the Constitution of Nigeria say, and that's why we have to first and foremost review that Constitution to be able to give us, because the moment we are able to review our Constitution, it to take care of all these security issues, you take care of economic problems we're having, you take care of so many things. So
there are some who would argue,
yes,
we have lots of laws,
yes,
and we've not even implemented the laws that we have, and that the problem is not so much the constitutional document, but the actions of people in bad faith.
That is the leadership question. Now let's look at what the Constitution say about our election. This is where, because we're talking about leadership recruitment process, that is faulty too. Up to this moment, we've not been able to have a very good electoral law that will guarantee free, fair election, that would aid, that would help our leadership recruitment process. So everything goes on to the leadership. And the leadership will tell you they derive their power from these laws. That's exactly what I'm trying to say here. So as far as, I mean, for me, we're not having it, you know, really good. Then unfortunately for us, when the president, as it were, or the leader of the country, or even a governor, when they are making an appointment of who should be in charge of the security, they discover that there is this gap, very big gap, you know, among those who are put at the hands of affairs to manage the security, you know, our security matters in the country. So for me, I think the synergy among all these people will really help if they can work together. And sometimes you see that, you know, look at police, as it were. Police enjoy lots of latitude in our constitution, even more than any other organization. So they are the first line, you know, charge. But you discover that everything has been turned upside down because of the military incursion. So the military never find police a very good friend, I must tell you. And the way our police system is now is the function of the way the military leaders we've had in the past have treated the Nigerian police.
Yeah, with them feeling a little bit threatened by the police and therefore the underfunding. But we've had over 20 years of democracy, 21 years now, and you would think that the politicians or the political leaders would have changed all that. Granted, 2 of our 4 presidents have been former military leaders, so maybe bad habits have persisted as a result of that. So you believe that this is one of the reasons why we've had that. Well, one of the things that we have tried, or we are gravitating towards these days, is to have policing at the state and local level.
Yeah, the state police would have really helped. That's exactly what I'm telling you about the constitution. See, we're not going back there, because if we had a constitution that provided for a federal police, all right, where you have just one man at the head of affairs. So before you can now switch into state, you know, having a state police, now you have to go back to the same constitution. So, and that's where the goodwill and the will of the leaders, comes in. If you have a president who believes state policing will help, you know, addressing the security challenges we have in the country, it won't take him anything to work with the National Assembly, amend the laws to accommodate state policing, because we know we need it. So you take somebody, for example, from Maiduguri to go and work in Ogun State, who doesn't understand the locality, who doesn't understand. These are the problems. The guy will just be there, perhaps he doesn't understand the language, local dialect there, he doesn't even understand the terrain. But when you have a state policing, you know, a guy from Ogun State is recruited into Nigerian police and is working in that locality, in that local government. He knows and credits of the place. So it makes it a lot easier to even identify criminals. So I discovered that again, among all these security agencies, there's no proper intelligence sharing. Everybody wants to be the good guy, to the president, that we're the one that have done the job. All right. For instance, the Department of State Security is a department, used to be a department in the Nigerian police. The immigration used to be a department in the Nigerian police. The customs, and extras, they used to be a department in the Nigerian police. Since everything has been fragmented, there is no cooperation anymore. Everybody wants to raise one.
Part of the fragmentation is because of inefficiencies.
That's what we're talking about. So look at the
you have the road safety also, which are performing policing.
Exactly.
functions.
AFCC is a duplication of the special fraud unit of Nigerian police. And let me tell you, sir, when you look at countries that have succeeded, that have done well, two things, or about three, I've really helped them to do. Number one is the rule of law, the strict adherence to the rule of law. Number two is the policing system. When you look at UK, for instance, look at Met Police. Yes, they have their shortcomings, but they are better than what we're seeing in Nigeria. And the third one is a very solid judicial system.
So let's take a look at that, and I would like you to give us a breakdown. But first, we have to take a break. Don't go away. We'll be right back. There's a wind of change blowing over Nigeria, and it's coming from the Tertiary Education Trust Fund. If you want to find out how TED Fund is bringing the Nigerian government, industry, and the academia together to drive a new knowledge economy, tune in to this station every Wednesday at 8 p.m. for TED Fund, the paradigm shift. It's informative, it's innovative, and it's exciting. TED Fund, the paradigm shift, proudly produced by 84 TV Radio. Welcome back. I'm still in the studio with Honorable Oladimeji Fabiyi. He's a strategic management consultant, and we've been talking about security. But from the perspective of leadership, what are the fundamental things that we need to do to change fortunes around in Nigeria? And before we went to break, we were talking about, you felt you're one of those who believes we should have policing at the federal, state, and local level.
Exactly.
And I can see the merits of that. But I'm also looking at our history, that there's a reason why we now have a central police. Back in 1966, when the military took over, what it effectively did was to reinvent the country in its own image, a central command. Right. And to basically what the military did, even with the Civil War, was to enforce unity. But have we evolved as a nation enough to say, okay, let us have state and local police force without them degenerating into local militia? Because a lot of people are concerned about governors abusing state police, and they advance that as their argument. I don't think that's the biggest problem. Okay. I think the biggest problem is the fear of state policing becoming ethnic militia.
Well, I don't buy that. Sincerely, I'm not. You
don't buy that there's a real danger there. There's a possibility.
Let's look at this.
Knowing everything you know about Nigeria.
Let's look at this. In 1966, that you mentioned, when military came and gave us this unitary system of government, that's now that's federal now. What was the population of Nigeria at that time?
Roughly about 50 million.
So it was possible, it was easy. And there has been advancement in everything around the world. We need to wake up and meet those standards. But beyond that, I am not one of those who believe that giving us state policing will create. No. Let's ask ourselves, the countries that are running, we have them all over. How are they doing it? And they are succeeding. If we can copy democracy from America, why can't we copy their policing system? If we can copy certain things from South Africa, why can't we copy certain things from their policing system or the UK? This is my. Now, why do you have laws? Why do you have regulations? It's easy. It's just that there must be a defining point. There must be a demarcation. There must be that time, that line you must not cross.
So don't you see state governors, let's say, for instance, a state governor from Ogun State, hypothetically, saying, oh no, well, when you're doing recruitment, be careful to make sure that you don't employ any Fulanis who live around here. Let us make it just our people. This is our thing.
These are some of the things I'm telling you, that the laws that will guide the state policing will adequately take care of. All right? As long as you've been known and you've been living in this state for more than maybe 5-10 years, you know, a lot of people must have known you. You are free to be. These are some of the things that the laws will automatically take care of. If we are serious, sincerely, we're not serious about this state police, and I don't know why some people are so afraid of it. And you see the insecurity rising per second, per day. So for us, we have to be serious about these things. You know, a lot of people, we say, you travel out, you ask yourself, things that are easily working all over the world, why are they not working in this country? It goes back to that leadership question, the will of the leader to do the right thing for the people.
Precisely.
That is the problem. There is nothing that is not easy under this earth. Because of the creator of the heaven and earth has given us wisdom. He has given us everything that we need to sit to think and do it's just the inability of our leaders to do the right thing.
Earlier you also mentioned the three critical things that a country needs in order to succeed.
Yes.
And incidentally, a lot of these things are things that leaders have to be very serious about. Yes. So let's go through them one by one. If you could just give us a
Yes, I said number one is rule of law. Is very key. See, the countries that have succeeded is simply because they are orderly. When they say, okay, a country is orderly, does not mean when they say line up and everybody lines up and file out here. That is not what they're talking about. Is the strict adherence and observance of the rule of law. The moment you drop or you jettison the rule of law, you are going to have problem. Even at home, in my house, there are certain things that my family have to, they have to do. They don't have to do. This is there. So if you don't, everything will go uncontrolled. So the rule of law is key.
So we have too many people escaping consequence. On
a daily basis, even we say we are fighting corruption. It's because it's not as if we don't have laws, but it's not being adhered to strictly. Now, if you have a case with police, if you have an issue in police station these days, somebody will make a call from a higher office, and anything can happen. So the second is our policing system.
And we talk about settlement of cases and things like that.
Of course, we don't need this situation where you have this disjointed judicial system, where the courts of same judicial will be, this one will give this judgment, this one will give another on the same matter. You know, the moment, our judicial exercise has a lot to do, because as a judge, when a matter every judge knows the truth about every fact, every matter before them. All right, but even if a policeman wants to be funny, the judge knows. A policeman that a suspect has bribed, permit me to use that word, that has been compromised, come before a judge, and the judge knows the truth of the matter and stick to that truth of the matter. Next time, the police will not go to that court with that kind of mindset.
Interestingly, everything that you've mentioned, whether it's rule of law, policing, or the judicial system, has to do with our criminal justice system.
Yes.
So basically, you are saying we have a broken criminal justice system, and unless we can
very broken, we
cannot fix security in our country.
We cannot fix it. Sincerely, we cannot. We have to fix it. It's important. So, and everything lies with our leaders.
It's just and the decisions they make.
Yes, but let's put the leaders aside. Now let's go to the people. Now the led. We have huge role to play in this. There are ways in which you make your leaders conform to norms, to conform to what is right. And that is missing in this country we call Nigeria. Let me give you an instance. I was to board an airline, I don't want to mention the name. So they delayed us for almost 9 hours. No information, nothing. I was livid because it has affected my programs. So eventually they came to pick us around 11 p.m. And I went to the office. I said, why did you do this? You didn't tell us anything, no information, but the only information they were giving was, sorry, the flight has been delayed, has been rescheduled, till we stayed for about 9 hours. Now you just call us to come on board. No information, nothing. I challenged the officer. I said, no, it's beyond me. I said, because if I had come late for this flight, you not only charge me no show fee, you charge me penalty for not meeting this flight. And even if I wanted to change the ticket, I'll still have to pay more. So what are you giving us in return? The guy said, there's nothing like that. I said, so I'm going to take you on this. Then I told everybody, not to board the flight until they make commitment. Do you know that by the time I look under about 30 minutes, but when I look at it, I didn't see anybody. Everybody has taken this corner to go and board the flight. That is a classical example of the way Nigerians behave.
And the airline escaped consequences.
People
were willing to just go ahead.
If all of us have stood our ground that day, they would have come, made commitment, and do something. That is it. Just an example. The way Nigerians, like, go out today and say you want to correct something in this country, you will never see it. If you see someone, if you see maybe 10 people the first day, the second you won't see anybody. You'll be left alone. So we can't want to make sure in this situation.
That's right. Some of these things, for example, in the United States, they have mobilizers who kind of play the role that you played, somebody who will inspire the people and say, no, we cannot accept this. We don't have a lot of such people in Nigeria, and if we do, are they even listened to?
Well, I don't know. Nigerians are, I don't want to say we are lazy. You know, Buhari said it, but it's just that it was particular, you know, he said it to a particular...
It got a lot of flack.
But generally, we are lazy. We find it so difficult to challenge the government. I'm not saying you go and carry a gun. There are ways, civil ways, which you can challenge the government
and insist that things
be done right. And when it's time for change of leadership, think, listen, but of course.
Do you think Nigerians should ask for specifics? Because sometimes I think that when our demands are broad and abstract, it becomes difficult to. And I think that the government or leadership loves the abstract.
What Nigerian wants is just what they need is just basic.
Yeah, but sometimes when these demands are made,
yes,
I've noticed that the ask is often abstract, or when it starts definitively, it moves into the abstract. I will give you an example just to round off our conversation. The NSARS protest that happened. Yes. Initially, the ask was very definite. We want SARS scrapped. We don't want anybody who was a part of that to be and we want these people tried. It's definite. These are things you can follow up.
Yes.
But somewhere down the line, somebody came up with a brilliant idea of saying, no, we want good governance, which is now abstract, because what is good governance to you may not be good governance to me.
Exactly.
Our conception of good governance depends on how it rubs us off on us personally.
Yes, personally, yes.
So how does government deliver that? How you have provided government with a no-win situation. So perhaps what the public needs to do is make sure that whenever they insist on things being done right, they're clear on what they want. If it is 24-hour light, let us stick with that.
But we don't ask for all these things we talk about. Nigerians, most times, are always specific. Okay, some will tell you we don't have water. Okay, during campaign period, aspirants will go to people and say, I've seen one or two that will go to the people and will not tell them, this is what I'm going to do. So what do you need? They will still tell them.
But do they follow up?
They don't.
And say, we will not do this until you get us that water that we asked for in the beginning.
They don't follow up.
Big challenge there.
They don't follow up.
All right. Well, it has been quite an interesting session with Honorable Oladimeji Fabi, Strategic Management Consultant and former member of the House of Assembly in Ogun State.
A member of PDP.
And a member of the People's Democratic Party.
Yes.
Thank you so much for making out the time to join us to discuss this.
Thank you very much. I'm good. I'm very, very happy to be here and to have this conversation with you.
All right. We'll take a break, but we will be right back.
The typical African woman does not believe in the capacity she carries. We have a lot has been deposited in us. We have to accept that those things are there.
There are so many programs there to support agriculture, but women are not accessing it because of collateral.
We need to carry the grassroots women along because they are the ones who do production. Sometimes the lady at the grassroots needs some kind of push and a kind of expansion on how best to take this product where she make a fantastic profit.
It's about repositioning our ways of doing things. We are forgetting our tradition and culture in Africa. Parents need to go back to being parents. We need to keep advocating for girl-child education.
AD4 TV Radio, we focus on education with emphasis on research and innovation, science and technology, women and girl child education, children, health, youth and sports, socio-political and economic reforms, security, environment, entrepreneurship, and entertainment. We'll give you information at your fingertips. Learn on the go. Follow AD4 TV Radio on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. AD4 TV Radio, reliable and credible.
We love you, AD4 TV Radio.
Well, it was very enjoyable sparring with Honorable Fabi about the best way forward. Well, Nigeria has quite a number of laws, and these laws are supposed to help us govern our country properly. But they can only do so if we act in good faith. And that means we have to look at our criminal justice system, from the police, which is the first contact, to our prisons. How have we designed them? Have we funded them enough? What about our judicial system, the part that's right in the middle? We have to look at making sure that judges and lawyers are able to carry out their business without hindrances. We have to make sure that they're well funded. Maybe have stenographers so that judges don't have to write out witness statements in full hand using their pens. These are some of the things that could help us improve. And that's it for this edition of Exclusive Interview. Until we come your way again next time, thank you for stopping by.